Well, we finally got to Season 10 on the No Man's Skies series of different seasons. And this one is a Singularity. I like to call it the skeleton update from Kenshi. As a lot of the robots that they added cosmetically look a lot like the skeletons from Kenshi. Anyway, this is also probably one of the more frustrating seasons I've played in No Man's Sky, just because certain things didn't work in the way they should have, and I had to kind of dink around and trial and error things before I could get them working. Now, I also started this right when the season began, like a week and a half ago at this point. So a lot of the video footage you see here is, Wednesday when it came out, day one. So a lot of the bugs I had to discover on my own and then kind of get to a place where I could solve the issues I was having. So starting out, I started as a pink Fakine, which seems to just be what it is on my main account, until you go to a appearance changer. One of the things I've always said, or I shouldn't say always, but recently I've said, is that I like it if they would add an appearance modifier to the beginning, kind of like you can change your network settings and stuff. I don't see why they don't just let you do character creation before you actually start your mission. Most games do that. I think it would be an easy add, and then you could start as whatever you wanted to start as. Anyway, maybe in a future update if they want to continue to put time and effort into No Man's Sky. I know they've pretty much reached all the platforms that I can think of out there. I mean, they're on everything now, Mac included, which was the most recent edition. So a lot of people have their hands on this game. Until they do something like make an paid expansion or something, there's probably not as many ways they can go to continue to expand the breadth of the game to bring in money. So that's kind of been the strategy, is like, how many people can we get in No Man's Sky to? And I feel like they've done better than pretty much any company as far as getting it on like every platform and making this all like interactive and multiplayer with other consoles too, which is super impressive in my opinion. So anyway, props to them for that expansion, but seeing as there's nowhere else to expand, they're going to have to either do it like a paid expansion or find some other way to monetize the game, or just kind of call it a wrap on No Man's Sky and leave it, and then kind of go with the next project they're working on, which I'm excited about, honestly. I think from what I've heard, the little tidbits from Sean Murray, it sounds like this next game could be pretty spectacular as far as the scope and everything. If it's already more vast and more complex than No Man's Sky, which is kind of what they were saying months ago. So I'll be looking forward to seeing whatever that is. Anyway, so I did change my appearance here. I got myself kind of the orange, black, and blue look in this one. And I'll tell you, the very beginning of this season 10 took forever. I was trying to go find the shard ship to start with instead of my own ship, which I couldn't see because everybody's little communications marker is like blocking all the important stuff. So they like put down their personalized message about whatever their political affiliation is or whatever they wanted to say as far as where they're from. But it ends up blocking like the ship icon for your starting ship. So I thought I was supposed to go to the shard ship as my beginning ship. So I went over the shard ship, and of course you need things you can't get until you upgrade your mining tool with the advanced mining laser and stuff. And so I couldn't get the shard ship. I had to come back and pick it up later. Did pick up this nice Triceratops looking thing that was my first pet, as it does actually move, even though it looks slow and lumbering. It actually can giddy up when you need it to. So got myself a couple pets, and I ended up getting a solar ship when I did finally see the icon for my starting ship. And I think everybody starts the solar ship in Singularity Season 10. And it was a pretty nice one. It's like an orange and black, but I did eventually go over and grab the shard ship. I just had to upgrade my mining laser and stuff before I could do it. But this will get us over there a little bit quicker. So, Pet Uno, and he actually has a little giddy up. I was like kind of surprised when I turned on the run speed and he was going this fast. All right, so I fast forwarded a little bit here. This is the shard ship I picked up from the starting planet, and I've seen a lot of people with this, so I think this is a pretty common thing to do, is like go get your mining laser upgraded and then go mine those crystals you need to get your first Sentinel ship, and this is actually a pretty good looking one, so I was pretty happy with the results. Anyway, a lot of this expedition you end up going to the Atlas and turning in part of your quest stuff, so you'll be visiting the Atlas a lot. And one of the major frustrations of this season was that in the 4th round, in tier 4, season 4, whatever, prayer 4, you don't do it in the order that it appears in there. And I don't know if they might have fixed this, because I know they patched this game like a day or two ago. But if they haven't fixed it, you can't go right to prayer 4. You have to basically skip ahead a little bit, and then after completing some of the stuff with turning in parts on the space anomaly, then you can come back and it will then show you where to go to get to the 4th Atlas. Otherwise, you're just never going to see the line indicator to get to the 4th Atlas. Now, they might have changed this, but I'll tell you, it took me hours to figure out what was going on and why I couldn't get the Atlas to appear for the 4th location, even though I had it selected. So if you're running into that or you're having a problem with it now, just jump ahead, just skip that step, and go to the ones where you're turning in parts to the new entity on the space anomaly. I'm being a little bit vague, so I don't spoil everything, but you'll know what I'm talking about if you're playing the season. One of the other things about the season that was like slightly frustrating in this one is just that the rewards at the end, you can choose one of 2 helmets, and you don't get them both. So it kind of incentivized people to like play the season through twice to get both helmets if you're really trying to collect everything in the game, which I might do, especially now that the community mission, which is the other frustrating part in, I think it was Phase 5, one of the things you had to accomplish was have the community turn in X number of these echoes on the space anomaly, and we basically had to wait like a week and a half for that to get completed. Now, at the time of making this video, that task has been completed by the community, so you probably only need to turn in one of the echoes. So if you're thinking about trying out the Singularity Season 10, now's the time to do it. Because before, you would have had to wait till everybody in the community had finished that little goal. Sort of like unlocking some of the cosmetics on the anomaly, or like the cape, geometric cape, that took like weeks to get unlocked. Well, fortunately, it was a lot quicker getting through like a week and a half or so on that particular unlock. So this space station here is actually one that this is right by rendezvous point number 3, and I call it Traveler Station. And I've upgraded a lot. I think it's the biggest base on this planet currently. And a lot of other people have built here too, kind of on top of some of the stuff I've done. But I think what's happening is people have multiplayer turned off. But with multiplayer turned off, you don't see other people's base computer. So you can like plop your own base computer down and build your base, but then you just don't see that you're overlapping with other people's bases. So it's kind of become like a mess, and it would be nice if you had multiplayer turned off, if the game would actually recognize where other base computers are, so people don't accidentally like stack their own base on someone else's. Because then when you are in multiplayer and you want to share your creation with somebody, it just looks like a giant like junkyard, basically, of everybody's base on top of everybody else's. But I thought this would be a nice thing to do. I kind of got here first. There was no one else like who had built here at the time, and I went ahead and built at cap. So I built like 3 large buildings. One of them is going to be agricultural. So if you're trying to get plants and stuff, there's a place you can basically use vaults and pick to your heart's content all your different types of plants underneath the archive, and some other stuff too. We'll go check it out at the end. Also did some fighting to get my freighter in this one. This one was kind of frustrating. This particular one that I was fighting for was like an A class, and I had already picked up a C for free. So of course it was like hundreds and hundreds of millions of credits that you had to get to basically upgrade. So I sold off some of my ships, including this one I'm flying now, because these Sentinel ships are actually worth a ton of money. That's a great way to make cash, is to basically collect Sentinel ships and then scrap them and sell off all the little parts and stuff, and you'll come out with money really quick. So I sold this off. I sold off, I think, another Sentinel ship I had picked up, and my starting solar ship and stuff like that. And I had just about enough money to buy this freighter, but I was like 30 million or something like short after everything was done. I think kind of just guesstimated how much it was going to cost. So I decided instead to pick up a exotic guppy that had landed on the ship and to save my money and continue with the C-class freighter. Eventually, I'll upgrade. I'll probably just go grab another Sentinel ship and stuff too. But yeah, I would say, it's good utility to have the freighter because you have a lot of this extra storage space and things you can take with you anywhere. And on mine, I think I actually had a weapons expert too, so you can get some of your quest stuff done a little earlier if you're going to keep the save file after the season. So yeah, but if you don't need the extra storage space, it's probably better to wait for like an A class, or at least, or if you get really lucky, an S class, and just pick up that, so you don't have to worry about the up charge on going from a C class freighter to an A class. Anyway, and this is pretty easy, even with a C class. I think actually this ship that I have right now on the Shard is a class. I was pretty lucky in my pickup on the planet and ended up with an A. But traded it for that S-class guppy. Haven't upgraded it though. The nice thing is, from playing these other seasons, you have all these other ship unlocks. I was around for season 1. I have the Golden Vector, Utopia, so I have the Utopia Speeder. And that's the one I've been playing mostly, is just using the Utopia Speeder, because it's upgraded pretty well. It's already, S-class. You don't have to worry about upgrading it, so I ended up just getting that and throwing some of the components from this ship into the Utopia Speeder. And then it gives you a bunch of extra money, to upgrade your freighter and stuff like that. But anyway, in hindsight, be cognizant of that. You could do a lot better just by waiting. So anyway, all in all, though, I would say this season, like on a 1 to 10 scale, it's probably right in the middle for me. Like, there's some enjoyable parts. I like the new storyline with the dissident Sentinels. I like that, there's a little bit more mystery in the game and you're collecting parts and stuff. But the frustration really came from things weren't really ironed out. Seemed to be a lot of bugs as far as what order you can do things in. And then just not knowing why things aren't appearing, like on Phase 4, was kind of frustrating for me. So it's kind of right in the middle of the pack. It's definitely not my least favorite expedition, but definitely not my most favorite expedition either. Once you get things working, it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, here's a Utopia Speeder. You can see I got it pretty tricked out. Good enough. It's even got 1,133 maneuverability, so that gets you around. You really don't need too much maneuverability. Also unlocked one of the new helmets. This reminds me so much of The Rocketeer. I know that's a really old movie. I don't know if you guys even know about that, but something about the little wings on the ears, and then I chose like a more simplistic booster pack. It's not exact, but something about the little pointy ears on this thing reminds me of The Rocketeer. By the way, they have actually changed the graphics on this helmet in the last patch, where now the part is like the black webbing in between the blue is actually lit up, which I think looks better. So the helmets, this particular helmet looks even a little bit better. Anyway, I played most of this particular first run-through of the expedition with this helmet and this costume on. Even though in this video it doesn't look like I've been spending a lot of time in this costume, I built the entire settlement here, with this on. So, oh yeah, here we go. So you can kind of see it a little bit better in this picture. So that's how they changed the helmet. So now the webbing is kind of that blue glow. Anyway, so that building you just saw there was one I built for animal farming. And then also it's got kind of your residential area in it for people who want to come and just kind of get the feel of like a settlement here around the archive. Over here, we also have your vaults. We got kind of a community area down here in the kitchen. Power's in the room underneath me. And then a big area here I built for farming. Up here we got more, of course, mushrooms and star bulb on top, because it's used in a lot of recipes that most people will know how to make. So, and there's also a kitchen over there. If you need to craft you some mushroom soup or something like that, you're good to go. Then over here I have a mining facility, which is just activated copper. And I'm thinking actually I need to turn on the ability for other people to come in and pick up the activated copper. I have since fully decorated this out too. But yeah, I think it does like 10,000 activated copper every day or so. And I have 8 mining units down below and just kind of set them all up. Yeah, 10,000. So you can just throw that into your storage. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to turn this feature on so other people who are just visiting the base can collect that resource. As I probably won't be coming back here all the time, and I know everybody the next couple weeks is going to be flying through and seeing this archive by Rendezvous Point 3. Again, it's called Traveler Station. So, feel free to stop by. You're going to see a lot of other people's bases, too. I've actually, banned the other bases that were built on mine just so I could actually get to the vehicles and stuff that were plopped around as a lot of people had built on top of them. So it's just kind of annoying. Like, here's one over behind me that was like that. But, yeah, so this is just a place where you can pick up some supplies, too, for crafting different recipes. So these are all just filled with animal pellets. And I'm just checking them real quick to just make sure that we still got pellets. But it seems to last quite a while. And then you produce eggs and milk. And I think that bone shard is from one of the predator creatures. This don't pop in very often, but every once in a while you'll get a bone shard piece. But yeah, if you're trying to build bake cakes or anything like that, this would be a great place to come to get some of those boosts. All right, so we're here at the end of Season 10. I went with the Atlantid helmet on the first playthrough. I just think it looks better. I'll tell you, the cosmetics on this remind me so much of Kenshi. I think they must have taken inspiration from it. Now, not this particular NPC. The assembled construct is kind of its own thing. But it's got a little bit of the Kenshi vibes. But the new robots definitely do. I really like how they've given people the bodies to put on any type of head. So if you're like a Gek, you could have like a robot body. Or if you're a Traveler, some of those older robotic heads actually work really well on the new robotic bodies from Season 10. So, like the Knoll head with the like glowing orb and stuff like that. I think that looks really good on the robotic bodies. And there's also like the one that looks more like, the googly-eyed robot. You can use that too on the robot body. Anyway, so that was finished up. I'm finished up pretty much with the whole season here in this. I'm just collecting my rewards. It was a long season just because I ended up, building a huge base, which I usually do anyway in the seasons. I enjoy it. And meeting lots of different people and trying to figure out why the heck the mission wasn't progressing to Prayer 4 on the Atlas. But like I said, they might have fixed that. So now, if I play again through, I'm going to unlock the Crimson one. It probably would take a lot less time now that I kind of, first of all, have my own base where I can pull resources from at Rendezvous Point 3. And you can too, so, go check that out. Like I said, I'm going to turn on the ability to pick up the activated copper and to pick up stuff from the animal farm too. So if you want some quick cash, that would be a good way to make it. And there's other people's bases there too that have similar things. I saw another person who had built a farm on the archive by Rendezvous 3. Anyway, guys, hopefully this has been interesting or helpful to you. So like I said, this is probably like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for me. Not that it wasn't enjoyable, it's just buggy and stuff like that, but they did fix it. The overall rewards for the season, though, pretty cool. I like the cosmetics. I like some of the different stickers and graphics and stuff like that. And, I've gotten 7 years of enjoyment out of No Man's Sky, so I really don't have any complaints about what they offer. Where any other game would probably be charging us for this. I just feel really grateful for it. That being said, I am super looking forward to playing Starfield. I've been checking out the updates for Starfield. I saw the big thing Todd Howard did this last week on Starfield, and it looks great. I've actually pre-ordered it, where I normally have like a no pre-order policy. This one looks good enough where I feel like I can trust a little bit that it's going to be a decent game. I was happy with No Man's Sky when it came out, and it was considered a giant flop. A lot of people were hating on it. I actually didn't mind it so much. I just kind of appreciated what it was at the time, and they really stepped up and made this game a lot better throughout the years, no doubt about it. But You know, I like the Elder Scrolls. Fallout's not really my jam as much, but I have Fallout 4, and, you know, it's a good game. It's just not really my thing. But from what I saw on Starfield, and it looks awesome. So that's already in my library. September 1st, I should be able to play it. I think that's, I get a couple days early since I bought the cooler edition or whatever. So looking forward to that for sure. You know, I feel like that game is really heavily borrowed from No Man's Sky. I mean, a lot of the building and stuff even looks like the same building constructs from No Man's Sky. And then the parts that aren't from No Man's Sky looks like it's from Star Citizen. You know, I tried to play Star Citizens, but I have an older computer, and like the memory requirements were so high. It was like 64 gigabytes or something crazy like that for a minimum. And I did upgrade my computer to 32 gigabytes, but it's just like, it seems insane, you know. But I probably am going to have to upgrade my computer prior to Starfield coming out. I mean, I think I'm fine on the minimum requirements. I already checked it out. But, you know, it's getting older. I wouldn't mind getting like a higher end processor. And I'm okay on my graphics card and everything like that. But, you know, NVMe or NVMe drive would be good. Been using solid state drives. But now some of the requirements for the new games are like you can't even have the older hard drives. The traditional hard drives don't work anymore for game support. So, but most of mine are SSDs right now, and I'm running like a 1080 Ti, which is pretty old school at this point, but it's still, you know, does fine. I really haven't run into any games that, you know, can't use a 1080 Ti on a 1080 monitor. So anyway, I'm trying out some of the new cosmetics here. Like I said again, this reminds me so much of Kenshi's robots. But I like it. I think it looks good, and I also like I was saying earlier, that you can mix these with any of the different types of races, especially the Traveler ones. A lot of the options there kind of work well with this robotic body. I don't know if I'm actually going to keep this on this particular save file or not, but I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. So I had the kind of the orange and blue theme going, so we're just doing the same thing. Get our robotic legs, and then we'll just kind of do the orange outline with the blue hydraulics, and then the black frame is just kind of already built in. So yeah, it looks pretty good. All right, backpack. Actually, I like this one a lot with the robots. I think it's a little bit more of the same style instead of like the exotic or some of the starting packs, which kind of fit the other character types. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I love the diversity here, and love that they're kind of adding the more classic Star Wars style or Kenshi style androids. So, but this one looks so much like a Kenshi robot, except for of course the flying jetpack. Let's do something with the banner too. We'll go with blue there, and let's try black. Black looks good. I know we got some of the new banners too from this particular expedition, so we'll go with that. Since I'm using the robot, we might as well just stay with the Singularity banner. But yeah, I think that looks nice. And this is also on that third rendezvous point archive. So if you want to go by Traveler Station, you can do the character customization off one of the balconies here in the main chamber area. There's also places you can get antimatter. There's a portal right there in that little hut. And then some other people came and decorated some of the other things, like the terminals here are all enclosed and stuff, which I think looks pretty cool. So whoever did that ended up, I think, adding a nice addition here to the base. But anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for checking out the video. If you guys would, please leave a like on this video too, and a comment. If you want to talk at all what your experience has been with Expedition 10, I'd love to hear it, especially if you're playing through the Expedition right now and kind of getting your first impressions with it. Have you had the same issues with Phase 4, where you've been kind of lost on how to actually get to the Atlas the fourth time, or did they fix that? Here's a good example of someone who built a base, probably with multiplayer off, and it just kind of clips into everybody else's stuff. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you soon here on the Gamer Guide channel. talk to you soon. Take care.